Hello, Sula here from MistyHilltops.com. Thanks for stopping by. In this video, I'm working on a traveler's notebook layout titled Tomatoes. I'll be scrapping three photos actually, and I'm working with papers from Farmer's Market by Cartabella, but very few papers actually only. This layout is based on sketch number 23, which is a silhouette cut template that is available as a freebie at MistyHilltops.com, or will be at some point. There are a number of freebies available for download, so if you haven't done it, go check it out. So I'm starting this layout by, there are 3 tags that I'm going to be using, and I wanted to just stamp some flower pots on them, but I realized that the tags are too small for some of them, so I decided to do 2 where I do partial stamps, and then the one that will go in the middle will have the full flower pot. And so I'm working with this. There's quite a bit of a challenge with the ink taking a long time to dry and me not being patient enough. I don't know if you know that problem, but to wait for it to dry, but I want to continue with the page. And so I ended up doing a bit of smudging, but it's not a big deal actually the way that I solved it. But anyway, it does take quite a while for this ink on the paper that I'm using to dry. I love using this paper with my silhouette, but for inking and it drying, it seems to be taking a long time. So the next thing I'm doing is I'm putting a photo mat or a mat behind every photo that I have. They're little squares. They're supposed to be 2 by 2s, so that is inches, and so every photo gets a craft paper mat behind it. And then those are the preparations, and then I think I'm ready for starting on the actual page. So here is how I put things together. I usually start by laying out the page so that I know where to put things so that the spacing works and stuff, but this design is actually simple enough for me to just start with the gluing down of that paper there. And it goes across 2 pages, so I have to make sure that there will be enough glue on that little end side on the right side where it goes across the page, and then I also need to make sure that pages are aligned so that they're not, that they're just flush in one. So anyway, now it's up to deciding where the photos will go. And then I'm still noticing, those tags are still not drying. And anyway, I'm still laying out some other things there, and I think I can put that tab down already. And so then I realize I don't think there's anything behind that will be tucked behind the photo, so I might as well just start with putting it down. But then I also realized that I wanted a different order of the photos, and so I end up putting it that way. That's how I had planned it out, and I wanted to keep it that way. So anyway, I realized that I was going to switch out, and so I'm putting down these 2 photos. They go in 1 row, and now I'm ready to decide and work with the tags. Again, these tags have not dried, so I have to be careful, and as I said, there will be a little bit of smudging. And then I realized I wanted this to be on the left side, not the right side. So after I put it down, I realized, oh no, it should not be on this side. So I'm taking it off again. So this process here, I'm trying to press it down without touching the wet ink, and here is where I realized this is the one that I wanted to use. But that's the nice thing with this glue. Though it dries fast and doesn't slide around the page, there's still often a chance for me to still pick things up and correct small mistakes. It wouldn't have been a big drama, but I wanted where the flower pot goes off the edge for that to be on the outside of each of the tags. So there's 2 tags where the flower pot doesn't go all the way or doesn't fully fit on the, so I wanted the one on the left to go off to the left and the one on the right to go off to the right. So I thought that might be better with it, with the design, rather than them opening up toward the middle, and then that kind of would be weird. Anyway, I care about such small things. They matter to me, and so it was worth it for me to correct these things. Then I have these little die cuts. There is that little boot, and so but then I decided I had die cut all these flowers. I thought they worked well with the papers. I made sure the cardstock used the same color theme from the paper, and so now I'm putting down the flowers and arranging them in clusters. So, and it goes quite along with the theme of the paper, although most of that paper is covered anyway. And so there is a little foliage that comes with the flowers. This is actually a die cut set about books and reading, but it had these little flowers in it. That was the main reason why I even got that set, because it has smaller flowers and not huge flowers, which I work with just smaller scrapbook pages, so big flowers don't really work well for me. I'm here's that cluster. Everything is put down there, and then I want to put a cluster of flowers down at the bottom, but I'm aware that there's that the 2 pages that are going to be separate there, so I move that leafy branch there to the other side so it won't be cut halfway when the pages are separated. So I make sure whatever design is down there, it doesn't go across the 2 pages, although I have done that too in the past. I have done where I just cut right through the design there, but on this one I wanted to keep the flowers together. And I don't put glue all the way on all the leaves and stuff because I still want them to pop up in some places. So you saw that some of them were coming off, but once something is on top, they stick really well. Things don't easily come off my pages after I have finished them. So here goes that flower on that side, and then there's that little jar that I have from my silhouette that I just colored and then print and cut. You could just use colored cardstock to cut each of the pieces, but I just, for ease, used just the color fill tool in the silhouette studio, and then just had it cut with the silhouette. So here goes that flower still, and then it's up to decide the little details. And so there are more word strips. You can find those word strips as freebies on my blog. For this page I'm using German, but I made the freebie has a sheet with English and a sheet with German word phrases, all about garden and gardening. And so if you are interested, you can go to my blog, mistyhilltops.com, and pick up the word strips there. They are a PDF file. And then I realized somehow I really smudged some ink there on the bottom next to that flower cluster at the very bottom, and so that will have to be remedied. But first comes the title, and I decided that boot should go to the left corner there. And I just got this in the mail, the stamp alpha, and couldn't say for sure if the word would fit on the space that was left there without going across to the other page. And so I'm laying it out first, but then when I stamp it, I end up stamping it a lot closer together, so it could have been a little more spread out, but it doesn't do much to change the design or anything. So I'm stamping the word tomatoes because this is from my mom's garden, and she is growing tomatoes and has lots and lots of them and lots of different kinds. These are kind of tiger tomatoes. They might even be called that. So anyway, she has all different kinds, and so this is one of the pages for her. I'm making a garden album for her, and you can watch all the other videos. There's tons of videos already on the garden ones. You can find them on my channel. Just find the playlist My Mother's Garden or Mother's Garden, and you'll find a lot more Traveler's Notebook layouts from that. And then I always make sure I clean my stamps, but with this red ink, it's kind of a chalky ink, and it pretty much stains my stamps, which it doesn't matter. I just don't want the color to seep off to other inks when I use the stamps again. So here I'm flipping around the page and then I'm cutting it apart. I use the back side, and then I realized, oh, I didn't even put down the hearts, and so I need to put down the hearts again. And then I decided I wanted to cover the smudging. There were some blackish smudges right there where I'm putting the stamps. So I have this little brown from Stampin' Up! Stamp ink stamp pad, and so I'm just inking it up here and putting it down, and it just end up looking a little bit like there's just a little bit of soil spread across there. And then I'm switching. Well, I ink it up again, and then I realized, no, I don't want to use that one. I want to use another kind. It would just look too redundant, and so I'm picking another one and stamping that there. And I think that really helps with covering up the smudges of the tags there with those flower pots, which are still not dry. So here go the little hearts, and that is a few more. I guess this one more word strip that needs to be placed somewhere, and that would be the end of the page. I'm going to leave you with some more close-ups. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give this a thumbs up. If you want to, you could subscribe, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.